Saturday, March 14th, 2026, and we are Charlie Cake. Damn, I kind of hit that note right there. Today, I'm embarking on a little bit of an earlier gym venture, which is not even by that much, to be honest, because I try to go, actually, earlier than how I've gone this week. While I'm happy with the consistency I've been going at the gym this week, I'm also been kind of unhappy with the timing. Oh, that's my neighbor. It's my neighbor, Ken. Ooh, this person did not see me, and they had to wait for me for a little bit of a long time. I think they giggled a little bit for how silly they looked right there. But today is actually kind of bright. You know that weird brightness setting? Or not brightness setting. I think I'm too video game pilled right now. I say the word spam a lot. I say the word video game setting right now, even though I'm literally talking about IRL. God, I even said IRL too. Well, let me just talk about the sun right now. The sun is at an angle where, with the sun visor, it could potentially be okay, but... One second, I gotta lock in real quick. Let's not speed run getting T-boned today, perhaps, but... I had a little bit of an odd moment yesterday where I was looking at some older photos, specifically from the past 2 years, and the reason I had to do that is because I switched phones about last year, so I've had this phone that I'm using right now for about a year now, right? And then I had to look up some old photos for some family stuff because, what was it? We had to like upload to a Google Drive family photos of me together with my adopted siblings to kind of like, we had to like, it's like proof that, you know, we adopted them and something fell. And whatchamacallit, that, you know, we're actually doing stuff with it. They're just not stuck at home doing nothing, right? So while I was reminiscing about, you know, the good times that I had with my siblings and just thinking about the idea that, like, you know, well, at first it was a little bit of a hardship. I grew up an only child, and now all of a sudden I have 2 random siblings, and you could say I met them when they were younger, but I quite literally met one of them when they were, I think, less than a year old. Maybe just over a year, actually. So I met one of them when they were just over a year old, and the other one when they were, how old were they? 3? 4? So basically, they have no memory and recollection of me, right? So it's basically 2 strangers I never interacted with, all of a sudden living with me, and now I have to, quote-unquote, in a way, raise them. Which, at first, I really didn't like. If I'm being honest, I felt like I had my entire life ahead of me. Now, all of a sudden, I get plopped with the responsibility of 2 teenagers. And my parents are like, oh, we're busy working, so you're going to have to raise them. I was like... all right, whatever. But now, I'm actually really grateful. I have 2 extra family members, 2 extra people in my life that I truly hold dear to my heart, and obviously it wasn't the easiest thing because I realized having a sibling is actually not the easiest thing in the world, especially with a little bit of an extra age gap as well, since, you know, obviously we're not from the same parents, but it's been actually a very endearing and fascinating experience, actually, having siblings after growing up an only child. But again, the reason I even bring it up is the idea that while I was looking through those old photos, obviously I found old photos of me and my ex together, which I kind of forgot to delete because I just deleted all the photos of us together or on my current phone, and then I forgot that I had my other photos in whatchamacallit, my computer. Also, I gotta take a text message real quick, so BRB. Back to the topic at hand, but the more, at first initially I was kind of sad, right? I was like, oh man, look at these memories, right? They didn't really want to be reminded of them, but then the more I thought about it, the more I come to the realization that, you know, I should embrace these memories for what they were, because again, it's not like the entire thing was bad. There have been some things recently where I've been coming to the realization that, you know, maybe it was for the better that we broke up. Maybe it's for the better that we're not together anymore, where I was looking at it in a way of how unfair it felt to me, but, and again, I also don't feel like I was also treated that well throughout the entire thing, especially towards the end as well, but it's the idea that the more I think about it, if I just dwell on the negative the entire life of, like, you know, just however long I live, that sounds kind of ominous. I want to live a fruitful and healthy and nice life, you know. The more I thought about, I should be glad I at least met them. I should be glad with the positive experiences I went through with them as well, and even through the negative, what more can I really do at this point other than to just take them as lessons? And did I get like, substantially physically or mentally injured because of this? I like to say no. Obviously, heartbreak isn't the most fun thing to have. But at the same time, I could always think it could have been worse. And what can I learn from this? Can I learn to be a better person? Yes. Can I learn to be a better lover and partner? I think yes as well. Well, I do think, you know what? At this point too, the more I talk about her negatively, what more does it change on my end, right? Like, what does that really change for me? If I just keep labeling myself as a victim, yeah. So if anything, it's my time to get more muscle. It's time for me to lose weight. It's time for me to, I guess, quote unquote, lose fat. It's time for me to look smack. Just kidding. I'm not. I would like to look smacks, just in the idea of, I like to be a version of myself that I can look back and be like, oh, I do feel like I'm more attractive now. Or actually, maybe I shouldn't even say that. That sounds a little bit childish, but just the idea that, like, I love myself more now because of the effort and time I put into just being a better version of myself. And I'm feeling very optimistic. I've also journaled again. I haven't journaled in a while, actually. So I wrote a longer than usual journal entry last night, where I talked about the idea that I have this fear in life where whenever I get really into something, I tend to go all out. I try to put all my effort and time into that, and then eventually I get burnt out. And I didn't even realize it, where I'm starting to think, did I do that as well? Because normally I would consider that for things of like my interests and hobbies, whether that be, like sports I did growing up, where I would have a very good initial introduction to the sport, like tennis, and then I would actually have some sort of, a little bit of talent for it in the beginning as well, where it gave me a boost in the start. Instead of just kind of riding that consistent wave of getting better and better, I would eventually hit a wall where it was either a mixture of, oh, I've put way too much energy and effort into the beginning, now I've ran out, versus also where I hit a wall where I also go, oh, I feel like I'm trying really hard but nothing's improving, and then all of a sudden I don't really want to do that said activity anymore, which is quite the toxic cycle for me, because whenever that kept happening, I would inevitably want to stop doing that activity now. And I do think to some extent, maybe I started hitting that for my relationship as well, where I put a lot and time and effort into it. And then I guess there were just some times where I feel like I was either not appreciated. I don't really want to say burnt out, because I feel like I really was in the mindset of like, I'm going to go at it with the best I can and just make the best do what I can do with the situation. But I did mention that into my journal last night, where I thought, I need to find a healthier balance. I need to find a better ratio of how much effort I put into something, so I can spread it out, so that if I truly do enjoy something, I can keep on doing. Because funny enough, I did that for the gym as well, where in the beginning, where I first saw a lot of progress, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this is awesome. And then the moment things started plateauing a little bit, whether that be for my, tracking my weights and progress, and realizing that my bench press wasn't going up to 135. And here's the funny thing, I am really glad I stuck with it, because you know why? For the longest time, I couldn't hit 135 on bench, but I just stuck with it. No matter if it took years, no matter if it took, a lot longer than other people, I just stuck with it. I believed in myself, I committed to the bit, and then it happened. It happened this year, actually. And I could say some people will probably hear that and go, oh, look at bro taking 3 years at a 135 bench. But yeah, I've seen people bench 135 never having set foot into the gym before. And then here I am taking 3 years to hit 135 bench, but I made it though. I made it happen. And I think it's the idea that I feel like I always compared myself a bit too much to others, where I have my friends that are married now. I have friends with houses. I have friends with fulfilling careers. I have friends who were literally stronger than me at the gym. Way stronger. Oh, what's going on? I heard that honk. And then I just kept myself in this vicious cycle of being compared, and it got to me. But it's going to be better. I'm on my own journey. Nobody else is controlling my brain, other than the brain worm that's inside of me, other than the T virus, the G virus, The Ouroboros. I forgot all the Resident Evil viruses that they had, but yeah, things are gonna be a-okay. I'm on my journey, you're on yours. Don't compare yourself. Oh, don't compare yourself to the point of being sad, is what I'm thinking of. But on that note, I have an upper body workout today with a friend. I don't know if I'll record it, because I will say it felt kind of weird recording while a friend was there. So maybe I want to respect that and just not record it, just, kind of embrace the idea that, I don't always have to record anything. Am I really making these gym videos to be a gym bro? Well, I guess kind of. I do like looking at my own lifts, to be honest. Haha, narcissism. But again, I think I just want to have a good old uninterrupted yap session with them this time. So, I'll see you all probably on the drive back home. Well, look who didn't record any bit of their workout and instead decided to just embrace the idea of working out with a friend and getting lost in the workout itself. What did I do today? I actually did quite a bit. So we did a row. We did a chin-up pull-up movement that I kind of tinkered down with the grips just to kind of see what felt nice. Did some chest flies, did some tricep pushdowns, did some hammer curls, and some lateral raises with dumbbell. But one issue that I kind of ran into is I had some issues with my right wrist. It's kind of funny because I tweaked my right wrist a year ago doing dumbbell shoulder press, because on the dismount on the way down, instead of using my knees to put the dumbbells on, I tried to power through all the way over, and inevitably I kind of went like that. Then I remember for a couple of months, almost an entire year, my wrist was hurting where I couldn't really support too much weight on it. So I've been I guess I really haven't really done much anything to heal and do therapy with it, but I've at least been doing an effort to make sure I don't aggravate it more, right? And I think actually the only thing that would make sense is, since I did those dumbbell shoulder presses the other day, I wonder if that kind of tweaked it a little bit without really thinking about it. But long story, not that shorter, but I was doing my dumbbell lateral raises with the 20 pounders and my right wrist was kind of hurting. So I kind of dropped down the weight and then it felt a little bit better, but it kind of makes me worried. Like, what do I need to do to strengthen my wrist? Like, what is an exercise that I can actually do to strengthen wrists and stuff like that? But what was I thinking about though? I had a good workout, and the funniest thing ever? We weren't necessarily on like a huge time crunch or anything, but what was it? My friend had to go to an event later on, so we had to kind of not cut it short. We did the entire workout still. But at least, we can't sit there yapping for the next 30 minutes, right? But remember, at the end, we wanted to get a couple more steps in on the treadmill, so we made the effort to go on the treadmill with about 7 minutes left in the workout. And I remember I said, hey, I'm actually going to go check out my pump in the mirror, and then gonna come back in on the treadmill. And you know what's crazy? I checked out my pump in the mirror and I got motivated so much where, dude, I was looking, man. Again, comparison is the thief of joy, so I'm not even gonna do a thing of like, oh, but compared to other people, like my arms are smaller, my triceps are not developed, my lats don't stick. You know what matters? I look way sicker than I did last year. I look way more muscular than I did last year. And I know if I say that, obviously there are going to be people saying like, oh, I barely see a difference. Oh, like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't have body bigmorphia or bigorexia, whatever it's called? I don't care anymore. I feel like I genuinely feel like I have more bicep development than last year. I also feel like my lats stick out and a lot more evident than last year. And I'm proud of that. I am diggity darn proud of that. What is that? And it actually made me really happy. You know what's funny too? Usually on the treadmill I just do incline walking or just normal walking at times too, just to get my steps in. I started jogging. I started jogging for joy. I was joyously jogging today. Even my friend was like, oh, you're jogging? You're running? I was like, yeah. My arm pump looks sick, dude. And I intentionally today as well, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt underneath with a tank top. Why? So that, without having to unshirt myself and have to look at my belly that's with no abs and also has a decent amount of fat on it as well, which kind of bugs me, makes me insecure. But my arms though, I was pretty satisfied with the look that I was getting right there. I did a old, what's it called, a front double bi. I did a side chest. I also just kind of did the thing where I don't really know the actual pose name, but I just kind of did like a press down motion to see my triceps pop, and whoo-wee! I was a fan of what I was witnessing today. I was a big fan. I was a big fan of myself. Still got the yap with my friend as well, which is always a fun time. It is very amazing the mental and almost physical benefit that you get of talking with somebody that you just enjoy talking with, if that makes sense. Like, and I feel like it's definitely the thing of like, you know, when I was younger, and I feel like people understand this as well. When you're younger and you're still not really in like, you know, you haven't found like, you know, quote unquote true friends. And even if you still haven't found your true friends yet, the people that you talk to right now might become the true friends later on in your life. But it's the idea that I found friends that I am just so comfortable being around and talking, to the point where no matter what we talk about, it's going to be a blast and it's going to be fun, and I'm going to feel like I can be myself the entire time. And I can be myself so much that I literally saw spit flying out of my mouth right there, and I thought that was actually really gross, but that's just how much I just feel so fortunate that I have found people that I can be myself entirely, and I don't have to feel like I'm being embarrassing. I don't have to feel like have to put on a facade. Ooh, that's a slammed M3 on BBS. Whoo! I wish I got to see that car a little bit closer. Also, I just took off my sunglasses because it was getting not as bright as earlier, and now it's getting brighter again. So I'm a little bit peeved by that, but I got a sick arm pump in. I also got a pretty good workout in for my other upper body, or not my other upper body, for my other upper body workouts that I did as well. My chest felt quite pumped. Obviously, I can't, you can't really look at a chest pump. Actually, you could look at a chest pump through a shirt. You can, it's possible. Can't really look at a back pump through a shirt. I haven't really gotten a strictly back pump before, because I feel like whenever I get a really good back workout, it still doesn't really feel like I'm getting a pump though, if that makes sense. Maybe that's just something I just have yet to discover, and I'll discover later on though. Man, it is getting really bright though. It's kind of hurting my eyes now. Let's put the sun visor down a little bit. But it's just the realization that even what seems like very minor things in life can really just boost your mood and make your day. I woke up, I ate some fruit. The fruit was really sweet and delicious, which was also a really nice benefit as right there. Because sometimes you eat some fruit that's not really that ripe, and it just kind of tastes bad, to be honest. But all the fruit I had today was extremely ripe, extremely juicy, just delicious. I've been having these blood oranges recently, and they taste so good. I love citrus. I love oranges, man. Even the banana I had today too was delicious, because it had like a nice, not firm, but like, you know when a banana gets mushy? It was like a firmer banana, because I like a firmer banana, but had the perfect amount of sweetness. Like, I'm not saying bananas need to be tart or anything, but like, when a banana gets too mushy and overripe, it feels like you're just kind of eating sugar or syrup. But this banana, it tasted very banana-y. I even had some strawberries that weren't the most ripe items, but they were still good. Had some kiwis, had some blueberries. I had a pretty good fruit spread overall, actually. And good start to the morning. I also had a good poop. I don't know if that's TMI, but I had a good poop. You have a good poop and your day gets a little bit better, to be honest. Another thing that I noticed too is I hope that in 6 months from now I can look back in these videos and realize I look different. And hopefully in a more positive way. One thing that's been kind of bugging me in these videos is that I notice that when I look back at the video portions of my thing, you can even see right there, you see the double chin. Hopefully with a consistent workout routine, making sure I don't blow up on my calories that often. Thing too is I feel like if I don't do a strict deficit of like something too insane, and maybe if with the idea, maybe it's just coping at this point, we'll find out in 6 months, right? Even just maintaining calories, but just being more active and being consistent with the gym, I should shed a little bit of fat in the process, I'm guessing, while gaining muscle. So I'd like to hope that at least some of the fat here disappears, because I was looking at older photos, as I said, from about 2-3 years ago, and I had a much more defined jawline. And I know while, jawline doesn't define happiness in life, but I look back at those photos and I think, hey, I looked really good back then. I also look happier, funny enough too, so I don't really want to correlate body image with how happy I'm going to be, but I smiled more, and I also think I smiled more because my double chin didn't show up even when I smiled, so I was more prone to smiling instead of like not trying to smile, because see right there? So let's hope for a double chinless summer, And I'm gonna try my best, and let's see how it goes. I'm gonna keep myself to the routine. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna keep my cortisol low, as the kids say nowadays, and just believe in myself and get to it. And we can all do it. We should all believe in ourselves. We should all strive for the better version of ourselves, and we should all know that we all deserve happiness. Some people more than others, am I right? I kind of look like, I don't know if this is too niche of a thing to bring up, but there's from Chainsaw Man, I forgot how they pronounce it. Is it Reze? Like R-E-Z-E, Rez, however fuck you pronounce your name. There's like a gif that somebody made with their tongue stick going like, and I felt like that energy right there is what I was exuding. But I still have the rest of the day ahead of me. I'm going to be meeting my friends for some noodles in Kirkland, which I'm actually pretty excited. I think it's called Fang's Noodles. And boy, do I love some noodles. I actually made some noodles yesterday. I made some ground beef stir fry with broccoli, green pepper, and onion udon noodles. And they were sensational. They were quite scrumptious indeed. And I didn't even eat it for myself, actually. I made it for my family. I just had my portion of whenever I was taste testing the dish to make sure it was all seasoned properly. And I just kept eating it, dude. It was actually really good. Maybe I'll make that myself in the future as well. But, alas, the workout portion is over. The dry portion is closing to an end as well. I'm going to listen to the remainder of John's... Actually, I've already listened to John's playlist already fully through, so I'm just going to continue listening to it because I really like it. It's making me yearn. It's making me heal. And it makes me smile. It makes me not sad, but sometimes a little bit of a feeling of melancholy, but in a way that makes me feel hopeful. The way that makes me feel like everything's going to be all right. There's even some cows in those distance over there I can see. Moo-moo cows. My ex used to say moo-moo cow. But does that affect me now? A little bit. But that's still progress. Instead of affecting me a lot, it's now just a little bit now. And if anything, I'll look back on things with a more positive light and just think, I learned things in the relationship. There are times I was obviously hurt as well, but learning moments. Even the sun's shining on me right now. And it's going to be a beautiful life, a beautiful day, and whenever challenge and adversities hit me, I just got to take a step back, take a deep breath, think about what makes me, me, and then just figure it out at my own pace. And know that I'm surrounded by good people and that I have a good support system, and just keep on chugging along. So I'll see you guys next time for probably a leg workout, is what I'm assuming. So peace.